Hello attendees, my name is Vishal and I welcome you all to this live session by Great Learning. I'm sure many of you have already seen the title, so there's not a lot of pondering as to what we are going to discuss. But in today's session, we'll try and understand how digital marketers can get some inspiration from IPL and understand what they can learn from IPL when you talk about digital marketing in specific. But before we move any further, I need a quick confirmation from you people if I'm audible to you guys or not. If yes, then quickly say yes in the chat box and we can move further. Meanwhile, I would like to inform you that at Great Learning, we have come up with Great Learning Academy initiative where there are 80 plus free courses that you people can register to. And on completion of these courses, you'd be getting certifications that you can add to your LinkedIn profile, to your resume, and that would hold a lot of value for you people. So guys, if I'm audible to you guys, quickly say yes in the chat box and we all can move further. So do let me know in the chat box if I'm audible to you people or not. So Mahim Hassan says yes. So I'm assuming that I'm audible to you guys. Meanwhile, also note that at Great Learning, we have come up with Great Learning Academy app, which you can download from Play Store, and there you can seamlessly run these courses, play these courses offline and ad free. So do download that app as well if you feel that you want to play these courses on your mobile phone as well. Okay, so guys, I see people typing yes. So guys, please make sure that you maintain the decorum of this session, right? If there is anything that bothers you, if there are questions that you need to ask, please make sure you put forth those questions in the chat box. And what I would suggest is you maintaining the decorum of the session and not spamming the chat with comments that are not appropriate for the session, so that everybody can have hindrance free session and a smooth session. Okay, so guys, I have quite a few confirmations already, right? So let's just go ahead and get started. Let's understand certain pointers and see what all we need to discuss in this session. Okay, so this is going to be a short session where there are not a lot of pointers that we are going to talk about. First and foremost, we would start by understanding digital marketing in a nutshell, what it is. We'll spend very little time understanding this, and post that we'd move to IPL and understand what it does better from a digital marketing perspective, something that you can learn from IPL. Okay, now all that pointers are out of the way. Let's just go ahead and get started quickly. Okay, so what is digital marketing, right? So guys, again, if there are questions, make sure you put forth those in the chat box and I'd be more than happy to take those. So what exactly is digital marketing, right? So there could be some of you who are new to the concept. In simple words, it is nothing but the process, right, of using electronic media, be it your digital media, be it anything that works on internet and can be used for marketing, right? Those kind of mediums. If you use those mediums for marketing, that form of marketing is called as digital marketing. So instead of going ahead meeting people face to face, or rather pitching a particular product manually, if we can use a particular digital media to convey a particular idea to someone, the process is called as digital marketing, where we use digital medium, be it your content marketing that uses digital media, be it your social media marketing, right? Be it something else like doing public branding or product branding. All of these, if done using digital media, they fall under digital marketing. There are two simple rules to do this digital marketing. One is you understand your customers, as in what are their needs, and the next thing is you understand how to reach out to these customers or to your potential audience that you want to market your idea or your product to. So this is what digital marketing is in a nutshell. In case if you need more clarification on what digital marketing is, I would suggest you visit Great Learning Academy or even visit Great Learning YouTube channel. At both places we have courses and videos that focus on digital marketing, where we've talked about digital marketing at a stretch. But the fact that we are focusing on IPL side of things here, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about digital marketing. I see there are some interactions happening here. Okay, okay, sir, please add digital marketing full course in Hindi on Great Learning app. Satyam, we've recently added a digital marketing course. If not, by tomorrow, I'm certain that you'd be having a digital marketing English and a Hindi course on Great Learning Academy. So register to Great Learning Academy and stay tuned. You'll be having a couple of good courses, and there are other courses to follow like content marketing, YouTube analytics, and stuff like that. So stay tuned, and I hope that you get what you are looking for. Sir, I'm Rohan Degoria, says Rohan Degoria. Welcome to the session, Rohan. Ritesh Kumar Yadav says great. And okay, so guys, let's just go ahead and talk about what digital marketing has to offer to us from an IPL perspective as well, right? So when you talk about IPL, I am sure you all know what IPL is. I don't think I need to mention what IPL is. For people who do not know what IPL is, please let me know in the chat box. I will explain that part as well. IPL, we all know, stands for the Indian Premier League, right? And it is one of those leagues that is highly popular, highly anticipated throughout the year, and is one of those leagues which is considered as amongst the leagues which not only earns the most money amongst the top 10 leagues that happen around the world, but is also one of those leagues that is known to attract huge crowds, something that very few other leagues in the world can do, right? So IPL again is an Indian domestic tournament where you have quite a few other foreign country players also participating, and it is specifically related to the cricketing world where we have a cricket tournament, and basically these are the 8 teams that you see on the left and the right hand side that compete with each other. So again, I assume that IPL needs no further introduction, right? This year the sponsors for IPL are Dream 11, right? The fact that we are talking about digital marketing, we are going to talk about sponsors and quite a few other things, right? The fact that you people are listening to whatever I'm saying, meanwhile I continue with the discussion, could you quickly tell me who was the first brand partner for IPL? When you talk about the first IPL, do you know the name of the first brand partner of IPL? Who was the brand representative of IPL for the first season, which we had in 2008 if I'm not wrong? So if you know about it, do let me know in the chat box who this first brand ambassador or a representative was for IPL in 2008, that is season 1. Okay, so guys, let's just go ahead and hop into what we can learn from IPL, and what are the digital marketing things that these people are involved in, what are the things do these people do actively which we can learn from them. Okay, I see answers coming in, and people say Lalit Modi, somebody is saying Coca-Cola. I would want you people to look into it a little more. Probably maybe you people would be able to answer it correctly. Okay, so what are the things that my screen has frozen for some reason? Okay, there you go, it's still frozen. Yeah, this way it should be better. Okay, so yep, people are giving in names saying Kingfisher, DLF. Yes, it was DLF, right? DLF was the first official sponsorer or marketing partner for, or brand partner rather, for IPL. And when you talk about the other partners, there are quite a few other that hopped in later, but DLF was the first one, right? Do you also know there was another tournament similar to IPL that was launched in that time duration, but it did not stand a chance, and later it was scratched away by BCCI. So if you know about that cricket league as well, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so somebody says Vivo. No, Vivo is a very recent, or was a very recent partner. It was DLF back then. So guys, let us see what are the things that we can focus on when we talk about the strategies that we can think of when we are talking about IPL in general. Also forgive me guys, there would be some noise happening around today because I've been forced to keep my door open. The reason for that is I'm having one of my lights not working properly, so I do not want bad lighting effect for you people to experience when I start this session. So please deal with it. Also, there's a construction happening around, so that could be another problem for all of you. So let's start. Let's not spend any more time discussing anything else apart from what we are here for, and let's quickly just go ahead. So somebody has also said ICL. Yes, ICL was the tournament that happened, and that was scratched off because IPL's presence was too strong, and BCI had its stake in it. ICL was something that BCI did not support of, and that is why they had to scratch it off or basically call it off. So let's talk about what are the things that you can learn from IPL, right? Or what are the things that digital marketers can learn from IPL. Now, to start with, IPL itself is a brand, right? I mean, when you talk about IPL, you don't have to do marketing separately for IPL. IPL itself is a marketing stunt, a marketing event, and there are quite a few factors that support this particular claim, right? The whole beauty of IPL was when we saw IPL in 2008, right? The first thing that got everybody's attention was the amalgamation of different things coming together. One of the most beautiful things was we could see foreign players coming in and playing on Indian soils as a part of the teams that also had Indians in it, right? Our local boys, right? And then we could see that these people could come up together and basically contribute to the game in a way that not many could, right? So this itself was a big thing. Apart from that, the newer things that we saw was there was a player auction happening in cricket for the first time, right? And when you say player auction, there were teams, there were bidders who could actually go ahead and bid for a particular player. That meant if there was a player who buyers felt or the team owners felt would add a lot of value, they had a chance to decide how much to pay this particular individual and giving a transparent light into the whole process. So we as viewers also had quite a few things that would go our way, right? I mean, because these were newer things for us. Auctioning a particular player, seeing players from different countries coming together, right? So this in itself was a marketing event because this marketed the sport in a way that not many thought of. Just not the buying and the different players coming together. We saw many brands coming in. We saw an amalgamation of film stars and quite a few other things, right? We'll talk about that as we move further. But when you talk about IPL, this is why I feel that IPL is a marketing stunt or an event that basically supports marketing, right? And there are other factors that also influence this call, right? When you talk about IPL, it's normally during April, May. This year, unfortunately, due to COVID, we see IPL happening late. I mean, it's going on right now, but it's basically strategized in such a way that we have IPL around March and April. And the reason for that is, right, schools, normally people are done with their examinations, right? People are moving into newer years when you talk about education life, right? Also, the timing at which IPL happens is also very convenient, isn't it? So that is why when you talk about IPL, this is one of the reasons why it is a very big event when you look at it from a marketing perspective. We'll discuss quite a few other pointers, do not worry. Meanwhile, let me see if there are any questions. That is the reason I've taken this phone in my hand. So I'll be looking at the chat and constantly answering your questions as well. So Harshit Mishra says, is IPL a brand? And a question mark. Yes, IPL is a brand. And there's so many things that people use to market using IPL, right? I mean, if you talk about IPL, switch on your TVs. What do you see these days, right? Sprite doing ads that is relevant to IPL. My Circle 11 doing ads related to IPL, right? Open your channel, you'll see people doing ads related to IPL. Why? Because this is something that would help you drive traffic. This is called as understanding the sentiments of people and then throwing in ads, marketing stuff in such a way that whatever is popular, you can derive traffic from that. And that is what IPL does for you. Anything you relate to IPL, people can automatically feel related to it, right? Because in India, we are very emotional about cricket and all of us follow it very passionately, or most of us follow it very passionately. And that is the reason, yes, IPL is a brand. Because to give you one example, right now when you talk about IPL, there are a lot of ads that go around for mutual funds, right? And I'm sure there are many out there who would see these cricketers doing ad for mutual funds, going ahead and understanding what mutual funds are. So yes, IPL is a brand, and when you associate IPL with other products, this ends up using IPL as a brand to market them. So that is why I say IPL is a marketing event, and many people can learn from it. What you can learn from it is, what time do you want to market a particular product? What are the things that you can do differently? What are the things that you can offer differently to people? And how you can actually go ahead and basically attract relevant strategies or people to your strategies, right? Okay, so are there any other questions? No. So guys, there are no questions. I only see Anmol saying it's a hi-fi domestic tournament apart from various domestic tournaments. Yes, that's fairly true. And the reason it is hi-fi is because it has become a brand these days. Okay. So let's just go ahead and understand some of the other pointers. Let's see what are the other things that we can talk about, right? Let me just quickly see if there's anything else that I need to look into. Are there any questions that we need answering? No. Yeah. Okay. So let's just go ahead and talk about the other pointers, right? Brands coming together. So again, guys, if you're talking about something that is very popular, you are automatically attracting other things that either want to get popular or want to increase their popularity. How does this happen? Now, when you talk about IPL is owned by esteemed investors, right? Mumbai Indians, we know the owner is Mr. Ambani, right? If you talk about even other franchises, right? Neswadia, or be it Mr. Kundra, all of these are high profile owners. Shah Rukh Khan, we cannot forget Shah Rukh Khan, right? Again, very smart businessman. So when you talk about these franchisees, in 2008, when we had the first franchise that was being sold out for IPL, it was Mr. Ambani who spent the most. So it was somewhere around in the range of 300 to 500 crores is what they had spent to buy an IPL team. And now if you go ahead and try and buy a team, it's worth way more than that. That means if Ambani decides to sell that team, its brand value would be a lot more than that. So what is the reason that companies are ready to invest, brands are ready to invest so much money in IPL? Why? Because they are sure that they'll be getting more returns out of it. Now, when you talk about brands coming together, if you take a look at the clothes these sports players wear, find out a single place on their dress where it's not having a logo on it. What we are doing here is we are seeing these logos on these clothes of these players wearing, right? Apart from that, whenever there's a six that is being hit, we probably hear a sponsor's name saying that, okay, this a cracking six for so and so, right? So basically what is happening here is we are knowingly or unknowingly looking at brands being marketed. This is something that is getting ingrained in our brains, right? And when you talk about brands, now there are like tons of brands that come together. Not only do they sponsor these games, but in a way also end up marketing their own products there. So that is why IPL is a very healthy time for these people to know that they are going to have an undisturbed attendance from the audience for like good 2 months and for almost 4 to 8 hours a day during these 2 months of IPL. So brands coming together, another reason why we see brands coming together, and this is how brands normally invest when you talk about IPL in particular. Okay, let's move on and take a look at the next point. Meanwhile, let me see if there's any question that needs answering. Where did my chat go? I need to refresh it once. There you go. Okay, no questions yet, so I think we are good to go ahead and discuss or continue with the pointers that we were talking about. So guys, let me know in the chat box which of these teams is your favorite IPL team. When you talk about the IPL 2020, or which IPL team have you been supporting maybe throughout the time IPL started? Do let me know about that in the chat, right? Let's just go ahead and take a look at the next point that we have on our hands. Influencer marketing. So guys, what influencer marketing is, basically if there's a brand with you, you use that particular brand to market something else. Now, to give you an example, if you talk about Mumbai Indians, right? Mumbai Indians, we've seen marketing Seat tires, or the players of the Mumbai Indian team marketing Seat. Now, if you talk about the players, I think it was the Mumbai captain Rohit Sharma who did that, right? Similarly, if you talk about RCB, they've marketed products of HP and quite a few other things, right? This year we see them marketing Jio. The Jio Dandanadan ad is very popular right now. This is something that we see all over and over again. So what do you mean by influencer marketing, right? So when you talk about influencer marketing, what we see here is we see using a persona of popular personalities or brands in the market, and using that persona, their presence, to market something else. So when we say a Virat Kohli saying something, right, that means a lot to people. So Virat Kohli this year we say talking about MRF tires. So MRF tires in a way is reaching out to quite a few people, and they're using this digital media like TV, right, or even your phones where you watch. So they're using this digital media to market their product, the tires basically. Similarly, if you talk about this being marketed on Hotstar, when you see the chat, you'll see quite a few people putting in their ads. So again, there's a way of reaching out to people where there's a lot of communication, a lot of information being passed, right? So when you talk about as a digital marketer, you can always understand what influencer techniques that you can target. So let's assume that you're focusing on a particular set of business. All you should know is who are the people that influence this particular vertical, this particular domain, and can you use this domain to market a particular product. To give you an example, let's assume that you have a YouTube channel, right, and you want your YouTube channel to do well. Can you basically call someone to speak on your channel who is doing fairly well on his or her YouTube channel? That is a way of doing influencer marketing, and that is what you can learn from IPL. I mean, they do it so well. Okay, so next we have behind the scenes. This is something that I can give you a lot of examples for, but meanwhile let me see if there's a question that I need to look into. So there are quite a few people typing RCB, so I assume we have a good amount of audience from Bangalore, and they are currently doing fairly well. So I hope that RCB wins this time, because every year many people put in their hopes in RCB, and we see they going home disappointed, but this time we see the teams doing fairly well. So again, so only RCB, I see no buyers for the popular teams like MI, CSK, Delhi Capitals, do I? Okay, no problem. So let's just go ahead and talk about the other pointers. So guys, when you say behind the scenes, when you talk about famous personalities, now someone like Shubman Gill, who is a 20-year-old kid who is doing fairly well in the cricketing world, if someone like Shubman Gill is getting very popular, we as people want to know what Shubman Gill does, right? We want to know, we all are excited when IPL starts or it's about to start. So we are more curious to know, has the team reached the particular locations? This year, when you talk about IPL in particular, it has been very digital, right? Nobody gets to go to the grounds. So we are more curious. How did these people land there? Are they, I mean, all those precautions, we see them traveling around with the masks and stuff, right? So when you say behind the scenes, we normally see what brands do is, let's talk about the team owners in particular, right? So what the team owners themselves do is they have their own channels, right, where they run videos. We get to say what happened after the match, and that lets us know how the team culture is and stuff like that. Let me give you an example here. Let's just quickly look for, I think I saw a video recently, so I'm gonna just go ahead and look for KKR here. There you go. And when you look for the official page, passion. Why are they having a Dhoni ad on a KKR channel? I don't know. That's again another way of marketing a particular product, right? See, you see there are episodes that are happening where we talk about people dressing room celebrations. This is when KKR won the match, right? So again, people who've won, or a team that has won, their following is gonna stay there. They want to see their players being appreciated, their players basically being talked about, right? So they would want to have more information. So these are the videos that do fairly well then, right? See, 3,337k views in 2 days. That tells you, right? So basically, if you take a look at these channels will have their own pages using which they can reach out to people, right? We'll discuss about this more as we get into the details, but I believe by now you've understood what behind the scenes basically I'm trying to associate with, right? So all of these channels, all of these teams rather, will have their own channels, their own pages. So IPL itself will have its official page, and every team will try and build its own value, right? So if okay guys, I'm experiencing some network issue. Hopefully that gets resolved quickly. Yeah. So Harshit caught it rightly, saying that great learning itself is associated with Virat Kohli. So to be very frank, this is a very new speculation that has happened for us. There's a lot of insight that needs to be still put into it, because these are new revelations for great learning as well. And how do we approach the marketing part of things when you talk about somebody like Virat Kohli associating with great learning, right? That is something that you'll see as things unfold. But again, Virat Kohli and great learning share a lot of ideas, right? Or have similar ideas. Virat Kohli is somebody who strives, right, for doing good things. We too strive really hard to ensure that all of you get good knowledge out here. So hopefully the amalgamation goes well for us and for you all as well. Okay, so coming back to the behind the scenes part. So guys, it is very important to understand this part from a digital marketing perspective, right? That you have to have your presence felt everywhere. One of the ways is to make your presence felt on these social media platforms. So if there's a fan following for KKR, and if there's a page, there's an official channel, people are gonna visit that. What are the other things that you can do here? When you talk about these pages, this is where they sell their merchandise. You'll get their merchandise, be it the clothes that you talk about, some signed artifacts, and quite a few other things. Also, you get notified. So we see people following these things as well. And when you talk about it, this is also about brand marketing. Now, when you talk about a YouTube channel of KKR, going back to the theme there, right? There you go. KKR. So it has like almost or more than 500,000 followers. So this in itself tells you that even if they put something on YouTube, they have a reach that is this wide. So again, this is an important part. When you have something that is popular, how do you make it reach wider audiences? That is what this particular topic was trying to talk about, right? Next, what we have on our plate is timing of the match. Now this is very crucial. I talked about this at the start, but now let's try and get into the details of these things, right? First and foremost, when you talk about IPL, it understands that majority of their audience is in India. So first thing that they need to look at is what is the age group that we can target, right? And when can we make it available for everyone? So whether you talk about working people, whether you talk about college students, it is a win-win situation for everyone, and you're targeting all this audience. How? First and foremost, what you do is you basically ensure that you have your events in April and May, where examinations for students are done and they have their holidays. Even parents do not stop them from watching matches if they want to. The other thing is you have match hours. If you talk about previous years, we had match hours from 4 to 8 and 8 to 11. Timings where people are either mostly home or they're done with their offices, so that they can actually go ahead and watch the matches in the stadium as well, or they can be at home and take a look at these matches by being at home. So this is where timing becomes a very important factor. And if you all know, this year IPL has corrected its timeline by making its matches from 3:30 to 7:30 and from 7:30 to 11. What that does is that helps them cut that 45 to half hour time corridor, which pushed the matches to 12 or above that previously. So what that means is, even for people who are going out, they can come back home in time, or people who are watching matches in India can go to their bed every day, ensuring that they finish the match and then go to bed. So this is another way to reaching out to people, right? And what the timing also does is, since all these people are at home, brands can actually throw in their ads, ensuring that they get undivided attention of their audiences. And this is why IPL makes, or this is where the channels, something like Star, makes a lot of money. Now if you talk about Star, they pay like 1,500 to 2,000 crores for like 4-5 years for just streaming these matches on their channels. Why do they do that? Because they know that for these 2 months when they run ads, the advertisers are going to pay them anything. Why? Because IPL derives that much amount of traffic to start with. So this is what, or this is how the timing of a match also influences when you talk about IPL in particular. And this is where, as a digital marketer, it is very important for you to understand what is the audience age group that you need to target, and how can you actually go ahead and target your specific audience. Okay, are there any questions that you people have? If so, guys, put those in the chat box. I'd be more than happy to answer. Harshit Sharma says, okay, waiting to see how it unfolds. Yeah, we too. And he says, I would love to see some courses related to sports industry of the country. Unfortunately, that domain is unexplored. If something that can be turned into a course like that, I'm sure people are thinking in that direction, and you should be having certain courses if and when feasible. Rahul Dasoni says, sir, I have to become a chartered accountant. So sir, please suggest me some courses which are the best for me. Rahul, to be very frank, most of my career I've had education towards the technical side of things. So even if you've attended my sessions, you would know that I mostly talk about cloud computing, digital marketing, business intelligence, and to some extent analytics as well. So I'm not sure, or I'm certain that chartered accountant or finance is not one of my strongest areas. So I might not be the rightest, or might not be the best person to actually go ahead and give you any advice on that. So I'll just skip that. But I'm sure that you can put that in the comments and somebody from our team would respond on that. Okay, so guys, this was about the pointers that we were talking about. Let us go ahead and discuss some other pointers here that we have on our plate. Film stars. Now again, guys, we talked about brands and associating with brands. What IPL does best for you is, it brings in the other audience or the other domain that is fairly popular in India. I mean, ask anybody, who do you think are the most popular people in the country? We'll have 3 categories here. One is your film stars, the other one is the politicians, and third one is cricketers. So when you amalgamate 2 of the most popular sites or domains of the country to which people follow the most, you are experiencing a good amount of growth here. And that is what IPL does best. When I say IPL itself is a marketing event, that is what I'm trying to say. It knows how to basically attract people. So when you see your favorite film stars coming in supporting the players, as an individual, you too feel connected to the team. And this is how you again increase the brand value of whatever you're trying to market. So there was a time when we saw Shah Rukh Khan doing ads with the other cricketers. So again, it was appealing to people who saw it, and also a great experience for people who were there in the ad. So all in all, it was a win-win situation for everyone who was part of that event or that particular process that happened. And this is why film stars are very important when you talk about IPL, or it's gelling up with reaching out to masses, right? So when you talk about IPL again, we've seen quite a few popular film stars, be it Preeti Zinta hovering the flags unwaveringly throughout the different seasons that we've seen, or be it Shah Rukh Khan moving into the balconies and clapping around, or be it Abhishek Bachchan, who was associated with Mumbai for a short stint where he enjoyed the win that Mumbai had, or the tournament win that they had. So when you talk about film stars, these are the things that they contribute. Now, we've talked about behind the scenes, where you basically go ahead and are curious to know what these people do. What IPL also does best is it uses social media very well, right? When you talk about social media, it's not just the YouTube thing that we see, be it your Twitter, right? We see quite a few hashtags coming in which are trending a lot. You see all the popular personalities trying to talk about IPL, be it Twitter, be it Instagram. Why do they do that? That helps people to associate themselves with those brands. One, if you are interested in a team like Mumbai Indians, or be it RCB, in this case I saw quite a few of you saying RCB. So if somebody or a personality talks about RCB, there are people who are looking for RCB, and that indirectly drives attention to the people or to the person who is saying something about that team. And this is how social media is being used. Not just that, when we talk about social media, we've talked about the ad side of things, where we see people marketing stuff. We've talked about the merchandise side of things, where we see people putting in their websites selling stuff there, right? But when you talk about IPL, we also see them spreading awareness as well, right? Using social media, using your streaming as well. Now when you talk about KL Rahul or Umesh Yadav doing ads for spreading awareness about what RBI rules are, right? Or you see Jasprit Bumrah, Mahendra Singh Dhoni talking about mutual funds. So this is where you're spreading social awareness as well, right? And at the same time, you're branding something that you want to market to the people, right? And also getting their undivided attention here as well. So this is how social media can be used effectively. Now social media again is a thing that you can discuss to many stretches and talk about quite a few pointers that are out there. But yeah, let's not get into the details of those things. Connecting with people, right? So one of the major things about IPL is you can relate to it. Go to Chennai and ask them what is your favorite IPL team, and they are gonna say Chennai. And who's your favorite cricketer there? They will say Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Forget Mahendra Singh Dhoni is from Jharkhand, right? When you talk about IPL, Mahendra Singh Dhoni's Tala is the word, if I'm not wrong. I'm not very good with those jargons. Tala is the word they use, and basically what they're trying to say is Mahendra Singh Dhoni belongs to our team and is a part of what CSK has to offer, and there's no doubt about that, right? Yeah, okay, somebody commented saying that anchors also. So I lost context here, because when you talk about the context, probably I was talking about quite a few pointers. So Nitish, I do not know what you meant when you said anchors as well. Okay, so yeah, coming back to the IPL side of things, right? It is a very good way to connect with people. One, when you have a team that basically supports or basically represents a particular particular city. So people normally associate their culture. We see that songs being created in those languages. So when you talk about Mumbai Indians, we see some Marathi terms being used there. Same with KKR, we see Bengali being used there. So that is how, this is how people try to connect with IPL as a brand again. And then you have your contests. Now when you talk about contests, IPL again is a great catch. And why is that? When you talk about IPL in particular, right? All these teams, they'll have their own events. Now recently I think there was some match for KKR where I saw Shubman Gill basically playing ping pong while answering questions, and he had to ensure that he does that. If you go back few years from now, there was a competition where we saw different teams player coming in and claiming or trying to hit the biggest six of the tournament, right? I'm not sure who won the tournament. Mahendra Singh Dhoni was one of the biggest, and Kyron Pollard and Chris Gayle were competing, that I know for sure, but one of them won. So basically, how do you remember these things? This is how you call out brands, and that is what contests do. They let you see your famous personalities or things that you look to or aspire to, and see them do different things. And when you talk about the IPL season now, if you talk about Google Pay, which again is a payment app, they had launched a cricket game for a couple of days, and it was a very simple but sweet cricket game, and that was launched right at the initiation of IPL. What did that suggest? That since IPL is a big brand, people try to associate themselves with something like cricket, and they try to make sure that their ads, their marketing stuff is more related to cricket, and that is what these contests and all these pointers suggest to. So in simple words, the gist that I'm trying to draw out of this session is there is digital marketing, or there's option for you to market products, brands in various ways. And if you take a look at IPL, there's a lot of things that IPL does right, and that is why we see IPL being the brand it is today. So guys, meanwhile, let me know if there are any questions in the chat box. I haven't have had a lot of questions, and unfortunately there were not a lot of people attending this session, so it is understandable. So again guys, if there are any questions in the chat box, or if you have any questions in your mind, make sure you put those in the chat box, and I'd be more than happy to take your questions. So do let me know in the chat box if there are any questions that you people want to ask. So the mic is open now. I would be taking in questions for next few minutes. So if there are any questions that concern digital marketing, that concern IPL related to digital marketing, I'd be more than happy to take your questions. So make sure you put forth those questions in the chat box or in the comment section, and I'd be more than happy to take your questions. So guys, do let me know. Yep, I'm waiting for your questions. Meanwhile guys, I would like to inform you that if you liked this video, make sure you leave a like for this video, this session, and we'll be more than happy to have more such sessions for you. Meanwhile, if you've not registered to Great Learning Academy, go ahead and do that, because we come up with quite a few interesting courses there, and many of the courses there are free of cost, so you people can register there and enjoy those 80 plus 90 plus free courses that are there. Apart from that, do subscribe to Great Learning YouTube channel as well, because we come up with such live sessions every day. We have like a couple of sessions happening every day that you people can enjoy, and these touch upon different domains, be it cloud computing, data science, machine learning, analytics, programming, and a number of other things like Python as well, DevOps as well. Hello sir, I want to know about digital marketing course, full course details basically. So Hari Priya Ambati, register to Great Learning Academy. As I've mentioned at the start of this session, we have 2 courses that are getting created for you people. I think they should already be there. If not, by tomorrow you should have those 2 courses. One is in Hindi, the other one is English. So whichever language suits you, you can go ahead and pick that and start working with it or start working around it. Okay, so guys, I believe there are no further questions that you people need to ask. If not, we can call it a session for today, and I would love to connect with you people again. Thank you for your time, and thank you for having me here to speak on this session. See you all.